with breaking news. The U.S. Navy is saying that a Russian destroyer came within 50 to 100 feet of a U.S. missile cruiser in the Philippine Sea, forcing it to reverse in order to avoid collision. This as Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping signed deals worth $20 billion amid heightened tensions with the United States. During a visit to Moscow this week, President Xi Jinping described Putin as, quote, his best friend. Joining me right now is retired four-star general, Fox News senior strategic analyst, General Jack Keane. General, always a pleasure. Good to see you this morning.
Yeah, good to see you, Marie.
So what was that, a poke in the eye at President Trump? He's my best friend?
Yeah, I think it's President Trump. It's the world stage. Certainly, they're very cognizant of the fact that the West is celebrating and honoring the D-Day invasion and what an epic event that was. I mean, these are two authoritarian, repressive regimes that have a number of things in common. They clearly want to change the international order as it currently exists. They want their own sphere of influence. They obviously look at the United States as an adversary much more than just a competitor. And they intimidate and coerce our allies on a regular basis. I don't believe that this is an alliance like NATO or some of the other relationships the United States has. I do believe they move closer together, to be sure, but they have historic differences that deal with fundamental trust and reliability with each other that normally have a tendency to play out over time.
Yeah, but what do you think went on this morning in the Philippine Sea? Let's talk about this near collision where the U.S. vessel had to actually maneuver as not to get hit by the Russian vessel.
Yeah, this kind of harassment, who are the countries that do this? Russia does it, China does it prolifically, and also the Iranians with patrol boats. Does the United States or any of our allies do anything like this? No. Why do they do it? They do it for harassment. They do it to get a headline. They do it to remind people that they're a powerful nation. And the best way to deal with these guys is to ignore it. The worst thing to do would be to escalate and respond, even though your instincts are to do that, because they kind of punch us in the nose a little bit, and the instinct is to return the favor. No, we don't want to do that. Just go on about our business and keep doing our business. If it got to the point where obviously lives are being threatened, then we would have to take some kind of action. But and these are dangerous things. I don't want to minimize it. When you come that close and a Navy ship has to go all reverse engines, obviously that is potentially a collision.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, if China is also doing this, do we have a plan to fight back in all of this bullying? I mean, even when you look at what China is doing in terms of threatening, that it's not going to import rare earth minerals, or the way that it bullied FedEx the other day. So it's not just things in the military, but this overall, as you say, as you called it in the past, is it gray zone?
Yeah, it's gray zone operations. Russia, it's hybrid warfare. Both countries are operating below the level of conflict. They actually believe they're on some kind of a war footing right now against the United States. They just redefined warfare. And it's information operations, it's intimidation, it's coercion, it's violating air and maritime rights. It's clearly major disinformation campaigns that they run, interfering in elections, all of that to undermine our government, to weaken the connection between the people and its confidence in government, and the same thing with our allies. I have been briefed, because I've been criticizing the administration for not having a comprehensive whole-of-government strategy to deal with this, particularly with China. And I went through the details of that. It's classified, and we do have a strategy, and we are out there working against them with our allies.
Okay.
The previous administration just did nothing, absolutely nothing, to contain them. This administration is got a plan, and they're working with our allies, so that's good news.
Let me ask you, General, the president coming home now after his European visit, the president wrapping up his trip to Europe, of course, commemorating the 75th anniversary of D-Day, watching a patriotic flyover with French President Emmanuel Macron. The president toured the U.S. military cemetery at Normandy, speaking to veterans. His speech certainly won high applause. What was your reaction to the president's trip and the reception that he was given?
Well, first of all, I thought the beginning of the trip in England and his relationship with the Queen is obvious. It's personable. It goes beyond the normal relationship. It's probably a testimony as to why it was a state visit, to be sure. He grew up in a family that had great reverence and respect for this Queen, and now he has a relationship with her. He must pinch himself a little bit, you know, in terms of what's happened to him on a personal basis. He also really threw a bone to England in terms of we're gonna do a deal after Brexit, a major trade deal, and that is really good news. And of course, what happened in D-Day, I think it's the best speech he's made since he's been president.
Yeah, it was very moving, and it was nice to see the commemoration. We honored these folks. These people who took the ultimate sacrifice to defend our freedoms. We will honor them forever. General, it's good to see you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, good talking to you, Maria.
And to you. Thank you, General Jack Keane there joining us.